Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday, 8th of November, 2023, and we are here. Ms. Gibbons is having internet issues, connection issues, so shortly she'll be here with us. So today's topic is the spirit in reincarnation. The spirit in reincarnation. This is an important topic for us, and I hope everyone will enjoy. And please don't forget to put your comments. Let's have a conversation here. And to do it, I do have my two best friends here. Good evening, Ms. Gibbons. How are you? Silvia? Hello? Okay. Charles?
Yes, but some connection issues probably.
Yeah.
Yes, good evening. Good evening to everyone. I mean, excellent topic again today, that we will try to develop for you a little bit. We have a soul. So this, I think, we developed a lot along our series. So the next questions, once we are convinced we have a soul, we are not just a bench of matter, so where does the soul come from? Where does it go to? Has it been created at the same time as the body, or was it existing before, and so on? And these are exactly the questions we will try to answer tonight, or
Good.
this morning, depending where you are.
Depends where you are, no? Yeah. So, good evening, Marco. Ms. Gibbons, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry, I am having a little problem because the internet is so slow for some reason. Must be the cold.
Yeah.
How are you? I'm fine, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Charles, Stevan. So it's good to be together and to talk about things that are very interesting for us. And, wish that everyone that's listening to us, if they like to join and ask questions or say something, that would be interesting. We are going to talk about reincarnation today, but in a different way. So should be interesting. It's a very interesting theme to talk about. So, let's hope we have a good meeting today. And boa tarde, bom dia, boa noite a todos que estão nos ouvindo. Nós estamos aqui novamente, uma vez com nossos amigos Stevan e o Charles, para mais uma conversa, um bate-papo entre nós. Vamos falar hoje sobre a reencarnação, que é um tema sempre bom, positivo, para que nós entendemos a situação. E hoje nós vamos falar de um aspecto um pouco diferente também da reencarnação. Então, bem-vindos a todos, que Jesus nos abençoe no trabalho de hoje. Tchau. Obrigada. Thank you.
Right. Good. Let me put the link for our video here. 1 minute. Meanwhile, good evening, Helber. Helber Saraiva, good evening, my friend. So let me share my screen. Okay. There we go. Okay. So,
reincarnation is one of the most important pillars of Spiritist teachings. We are born, reborn. We are given new existences, new opportunities.
But what is reincarnation? First, let's understand the word reincarnate. Re means back again. Incarnate means embodied in flesh. So, reincarnation is the repeated return of the spirit into a human body. We are all spiritual beings, living in the spiritual world. But at the amazing moment of conception, When our parents' bodies produce a new life, the spirit becomes connected by a fluidic tie to the new body with which it is to unite. We now, as spirit and matter, have a single certainty in life: death. When the body dies, the soul, or the spirit, which is the same thing, returns to the spiritual life. Sooner or later, we will go through this process again, joining a physical body. And reincarnation is the cycle of the soul living many corporeal existences.
What's behind the mechanics that allow for this to happen? For some, reincarnation is a mission. For others, expiations and trials. But what's the objective of reincarnation?
For sure, expiation and humankind's progressive improvement, as you said. Without reincarnation, how could there be justice? All spirits are en route toward perfection, and God furnishes them with the means of accomplishing it through the trials of corporeal life. Out of divine justice, God permits them to accomplish in new existences whatever they could not do or complete in a previous trial. Through reincarnation, we can understand why we like one person more than the other, why we have no abilities for some things, but many for others, why someone is born in the south and another in the north. Reincarnation brings meaning to life on earth. In each new life, a spirit takes another step on the path of progress. When it has stripped itself of all impurities, it has no further need of the trials of corporeal life.
Reincarnation can be considered as an opportunity of spiritual growth. But we must also realize that it's a moment for us to overcome any traumas that we may be facing today and resolve pending issues. Also, dying is not the end, but only one more stage in our process of spiritual progress. In the description of the video, you will find additional links to further understand this topic. Don't forget to like us, share, and register to our channel. See you soon.
Okay, good. Good introduction. To talk about reincarnation, we need to know what it is incarnation, even though we're going to talk in a different way, like Silvia said to us today. Meanwhile, allow me to say something in Portuguese here. Márcia Leão, obrigado pelo abraço. Dr. Fábio me passou o abraço. Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado. Pelo que vocês estejam bem aí. Sorry. Okay. So, let's come back to our reincarnation here. So, as it was well explained here in the video, reincarnation is one of our pillars. Reincarnation, it is one of the answers for many questions we may have, or you probably have now. And the proposal for today, it is to understand how is the process of this reincarnation from the spirit viewpoint. Correct me if I'm wrong, Silvia. Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, saying this, the common part between an incarnate and a discarnate spirit, it is the death. And born, when someone is born. This is a kind of comparison, I like to say, for those who read the book No Solar. When the mom of Silas decided to reincarnate. Everybody was sad. Everybody was, oh, she's gonna reincarnate, they're gonna miss her. It's the same process of death here. And this is I want to start our conversation here because why this happened in the spiritual world. So who wants to go first? Let's say Charles.
Yeah, good question. And I would even say the reaction that we have when we are in the spiritual world, as you just described from the family of the mother of Silas, looks more logical than the reaction we have here when somehow someone is dying. Huh? Because reincarnation can be seen as we put you inside a physical body where you will be somehow imprisoned. You cannot, of course. Thanks God, we have some moments, for instance, when we are sleeping every night, where our soul can take temporarily some freedom. But the next day, you need to wake up, and the soul needs to be come back, go back in the spiritual body, which is in the physical body, which is heavy, which may have some pain, when you are older, it is slower. The vision is not like this. You cannot hear like this. Maybe some other illnesses coming. So it's much better when the spirit is free. So looking this on this angle, when someone is dying, basically someone is freed from this corporeal prison. And so we should be happy when someone is by natural death freed from the physical body and returning to the spiritual world. Seen from a spiritualistic point of view, the death is something which is, I would say, end of difficult period for a spirit, where he then goes back to the spiritual world. And when you look to Nosolar, you can have a feeling. Of course, at the beginning with André Louis, it was not that happy because of a certain number of reasons. But all the spirits who have done whatever they can to have a good conscience when they go back, they will really go arrive there in a good way. There is some trouble, but it's very short, and the spirits recognize himself quite quickly. On the other side, the family of Silas, of course, the mother was there in Nosolar, very good, and so on. But okay, I need to continue my evolution, and for with my current level of evolution, I still need to reincarnate in order to have to quicken my evolution, to continue my evolution. So that is a step where the free spirit goes back into this corporeal prison somehow. So it is understandable that his family is, as you just explained, a little bit sad because of these separations. Because even so, they have more liberty than us to go and to visit the beloved one, which are incarnated. More facility for that, as we, as incarnated, to visit the beloved ones which are discarnated. They are coming to us, visiting us. So, seen from this angle, of course, this makes sense. I don't know if I answered the question,
Oh
Steven.
yes, you are. Yeah, you answered. And what is your viewpoint, my dear Gibbons? Why reincarnation? It's part of our process.
Well, yes, reincarnation is very much part of the process. If you allow me, there is a question in the Spirit's book, 132, the aim of incarnation, in which Kardec asks the spirits, what's the aim of the incarnation of spirits? So incarnation, we are reincarnating, we are being born on this planet. And the answer of the spirits was, it is a necessity imposed on them by God as means of attaining perfection. For some is an expiation, for others a mission. In order to attain perfection, it is necessary to undergo all the vicissitudes of corporeal existence. And is this experience that constitutes its useful incarnation as another aim, that of fitting the spirit to perform his share of the work of creation. So I think this is one of the things that it separates the idea, the acceptance of the idea of reincarnation that many people, many religions accept, and the difference that there is from spiritism, because for us it's not a punishment, it's not something that we're going to go back and things, and we're going to talk about this actually a little further. But I think what he says here, what the spirits explain to us, that's given to God for us to attain perfection. One of the main things, of course, through our many lives we make many mistakes, we make many poor choices, and we reincarnate at times with the aim to expiate what we've done, but also, and I think this is very important to understand, is not a punishment, because that's not God that tells us. We ourselves choose to readdress the wrongs that we have done in the past. So we expiate, but it's not a punishment, it's an opportunity that we have. And this is one of the topics, the main thing in Spiritism. And also, some will come for expiation, but others will come as a mission. Some spirits will reincarnate, and some of them don't even need to reincarnate anymore, because once the spirit reaches a certain level of perfection, of enlightenment, they don't need to reincarnate in corporeal life anymore. But some choose to. So for some people, they will reincarnate for the aim of, as a mission to help people. Is very common when we read in the books, especially in the books of André Luiz, of Xavier, that many spirits they have reached very higher levels, but they still have members of families, they still have friends behind, so they choose to reincarnate to help their family, to help their friends to progress as well. But also, there are many spirits who started a mission, who started an important work, and they choose to reincarnate to finish the work that they had started. A lot of scientists, a lot of things that takes humanity forward, are people who reincarnate to fulfill the work they have started maybe in a previous life. So I think that is very important, and that's where the Spiritism is so embracing, because for us reincarnation is a law of progress. So also means that even though we may come to for expiation in certain lives, the new lives we have, it is not something that is a punishment. We will not ever reincarnate as an animal, as a punishment. There is no such a thing. We will reincarnate as a human being, maybe with physical, mental difficulties, but we will not be reincarnated as an animal. That's one of the fundamental, basic principles of Spiritism. We will always reincarnate as a human being.
The progress is forward, not backwards.
Exactly, progress forward. We're not going to return to regress to a lower species when you already have reached a certain level. Because I think one of the important things for the spirit is that once we have achieved this level of development, God gives us free will. So we have choices which no other creature on earth has. And I think there are other animals that are more, even more intelligent than human beings. We find now that there are quite a few other animals. They have a highest level of intelligence, but they don't have freedom of choice. They don't make their own decisions. We have free will to make a decision and responsibilities. So we will reincarnate as a human being to readdress the wrongs that we've done in the past and to learn new lessons. This is very important. And another thing as well, just to conclude this part, that sometimes there's a lot of confusion. Like I read somewhere not long ago, that there are many people in the world now because spirits reincarnate in different bodies at the same time. And this is not possible. The spirit is individual. We will reincarnate as a person. The person that we are now, the personality, the spirit that we have, only reincarnates in one body at a time. That is, the spirit does not split in different, so we have 10 different bodies with the same spirit. That's not possible. We are who we are, and when we return to the spiritual world, we leave this physical body that we have now behind. This is changed, is transformed. The energy, the vital energy of the physical body that we have returned into space. Everything decomposes and it transformed, and the spirit will go to the spiritual world as a personality, as an individual, and they will not be different. So we continue our individuality and who we are. We continue in the spiritual world. So we need to, just as a kind of explanation very briefly. So that's it.
Yeah, great. Great. Let me see if Charlie's back.
Yes, we're all having problem with our
Yeah,
internet
he lost
for
the
some
audio.
reason.
He lost the audio. Yeah, it's important what you mentioned. I would like to leave it clear what is the difference between expiation and a trial. It's crucial. Silvia brilliantly explained it to ourselves. And I would say, Charles, why I spirit is evolved, like Jesus, for example. As we said here, the evolution, the progress is always forward, not backward. But why a high level spirit like Jesus Christ, like I would say Buddha, Gandhi, all these guys, all these high level spirits, they decided to come to reincarnate in a world in progression compared to them? Why they decide to say, okay, I will go there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I had an audio problem, so I had to jump out and in again. But okay, good question, Stevan. But we had the answer already. I think we heard it in the video, and Silvia told about it as well. These spirits who basically they don't need anymore to reincarnate in order to progress. Sometimes they make the decision to come to reincarnate. Why? They come with a mission to help us. They come to help us. Look at this higher brother, which are coming, making a kind of a sacrifice, coming temporarily in a prison, in order to help us, humanity, to give us an example, to serve as a model, as a target we can have, the ideal behavior that we should work on ourselves to reach. This is the reason why they come. Of course, when they reincarnate and they accomplish a mission like this and they succeed in this mission, they are also continuing to evolve. But they are not obliged to. They do it because they want to do it. It's their will in order to come and to help us. So it's something wonderful that they are doing for us. Now, you told the reincarnation about expiation and the difference between a trial and an expiation. Maybe Silvia answered to that because I lost, I could not hear the audio, all what she has said. But I let you manage and come with the next question, Stevan.
Good. Okay. 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 And why reincarnation? It is like comment from Marco Davis here. Reincarnation is not something new. Reincarnation is not something Spiritism brought to work to studies here. No, not at all. Reincarnation it's well known by many civilizations like Egyptian civilizations. Also, the Jewish people they do believe in reincarnations. But my point here is why certain religions say no, reincarnation do not exist. We have just one life and that's it. What's the purpose? Why they what's the benefit for it? Silvia.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I missed a little bit of what you were saying. Sorry. Sometimes the sound is going off a bit.
No, I just
Would you
said
be able?
why we are seeing some religions denying reincarnation, and what's the benefits for them to say no, reincarnation does not exist. We have just one life, full stop. That's it.
Well, it is not only religion, but many people. I think one of the things is, as Mark said, and you also said, and as we know, reincarnation is one of the oldest things that exist on Earth. From the first civilizations, we have the idea of reincarnation. And, as I said before, some accept that we through reincarnation to karma, we come back and we are punished and we return as animals and all that kind of thing. So there is this thing in a certain beliefs, which, as explained before in Spiritism, for us, this is not possible because reincarnation is first and foremost a law of progress and for development of the spirit, and something that we need in order to learn to create our own development. But also, as I said before, what he said, one of the aims of incarnation is so that we can share in the work of creation. So we are beings that have been created by God, but we are also part of the creation. We are creating all the time. All the learning that we have. Someone who learns how to deal with the earth, how to plant, how to get the most that the earth can give, those who go to the mines, those who invent things, the scientists, the doctors, the people who sweep the streets, everyone has part in the great development of the world. A musician, a dancer, every single person, no one is bigger than the others. And we all come to different jobs to do different things. So a spirit can learn different facets of life and progress and learn. And also, as I said, as the Spirit explained, to be part of creation. When you have a child, you're creating another, you're giving an opportunity for another spirit to have life, to learn as well. And every time we create something, we do something. When we cook, when we build a bridge, all of this is part of the creation. We are creating, we are making our lives better. When someone in a hot place invents a machine that cools the air, that's part of the creation, because making life more comfortable, more, you know, all these things that are created, they're invented. Some of the spirits come already with this thing to invent. Say for instance, now we are in 3 different countries, and yet we are talking together as if we are in the same room. This is invention of the internet, and this possibility, this is a part of creation. We are doing something positive, and it's in doing this, in being part of the changes that occur, in the betterment, we better ourselves and the whole of the human race. And the human race is not, although they probably physically very different, but they are human race in many millions of planets. So we are learning and we are developing. And so these old beliefs, it's part of this that we learn. And I think it was very natural for ancient men to, the ancient Egyptians, the Sumerians, and the Mayans, they all had this. It was quite easy because they saw life as a process of birth, rebirth, birth, rebirth. Now, we have, I don't know how many of other religions, but I know that in Christianity, part of the Jewish philosophy had reincarnation. And we see many examples, in the Bible. When Jesus was talking to the apostles in one of the passages, in which he says, he sends the apostles to go out, and when he comes back, he says, "Who do men say that I am?" And the answer, one of the apostles, I'm not sure if it's Peter, he says, "They say that you were Elias." And then Jesus said, "No, Elias have come and they did not know him. He has already come." So it was part of the belief, of the acceptance of that people, that they thought maybe Jesus was Elias. So it was quite common for them to accept that. But we know that when the church became part of the state, when Justinian, I think if I'm not mistaken, was in the Council of Nicaea, when they met in 536 or something, he wanted to change that on the influence of his wife, actually. And they brought, because the bishops, they used to be called, but all the bishops used to be called Pope, and they all came together and they were deciding actually on Easter, the date of Easter, because of the calendar and everything. And they said that reincarnation was no more. It wasn't right thing. And under the influence of his wife Theodora, because, the things that had happened to her, she didn't want the idea that she would have to be born again. So the church started changing it as well. And of course, they started that, but it was a way of controlling people. And then you didn't have the opportunity anymore of readdressing your wrongs. God didn't give you an opportunity to be better, but you would be sent either to hell or to heaven. Then you would either be sent to a life of totally useless and ociousity, that you would be completely useless for the rest of eternity, singing songs, I think, I don't know what they taught, or in total despair and punishment in hell. or you would be there in purgatory halfway, and then eventually, you would be sent, which is completely logical. But that was a way of holding people and creating a fear of hell, so of punishment, and that was a way of the church to keep people on their toes. So that's why, at least in Christianity, that's why they started saying there is no reincarnation and everything. But if you go to the Gospels, many passages, and one of the most important ones is when Jesus is talking to Nicodemus. Then he comes at night to talk to Jesus, and he says, you're born of the water and the spirit. And he said, but can I go back again to my mother's womb? I said, no, the wind goes and you don't know where it comes. So this is a very famous verse that Jesus says to him. And he talks about not being born, but he will be reborn again. So I think that's one of the things that's mostly political control of the people. And of course, we know that started as well. People thinking that could buy forgiveness and all sorts of things that, deteriorated some of the things of the beliefs in the church. But mostly the idea was taken out for control and power. Did I answer your question? I'm going
Yeah, wow, brilliantly.
for too long.
Yeah.
Maybe we can complement a little bit, because this belief of reincarnation, or this, I would not even call as a belief, I would call as a knowledge, wasn't at the time of Kardec, and is today still not fully shared by all the spiritualists, or all the modern spiritualists. Okay. At the time of Kardec, the spirit came very clearly explaining it, and giving the arguments, the evidences in favor, all the historical background, as Silvia just told, and also all the philosophical arguments in favor of reincarnation. Of course, there wasn't yet at that time Ian Stevenson and Jim Tucker, which are bringing much more evidences still, on top of what Gabriel Delanne and Colonel de Rocha or whoever did bring already on the subject, as scientific evidences. Nevertheless, in the American spiritualists, even the spirits who came there, they told, no, the soul does not reincarnate on Earth. It does evolve, so they are in agreement with the existence of the soul, with its evolution, but they don't believe that the soul can reincarnate here on Earth. So the question is, okay, what makes more sense and what makes less sense? And Gabriel Delanne and Léon Denis, they met a lot with both. Gabriel Delanne was in UK, for instance, at the International Congress of 1898, which was the 50 years of Hydesville, and a lot of others. I found even another congress in London, or in Bournemouth, I think, or in Glasgow. I'm not 100% sure where it was, in the 60s, where a Swiss guy called Carl Eugene Müller also came to them. It was already at the beginning of the reincarnation, and he brought all the arguments again in favor of the reincarnation, and he said, look, it would be really astonishing if science would believe in reincarnation before the spiritualists, by commenting the result of the researchers of Ian Stevenson, who published his first book in the 60s. So it is a question. I mean, we are open. We take, okay, we believe in it, or we are even sure of it because we have a certain number of arguments, and we can understand that some people may still face some reluctance to believe in it. But it's just a question of time, because as Kardec always said, if I'm right, the other will end up thinking like me. And if I'm wrong, I will end up thinking like the others. And this is the humility we have to have when, on some points like this, we are not in full agreement with, at least between spiritists, who almost, I mean, all believe in reincarnation, and the spiritualists, where only a part of them believes and the other part does not believe in reincarnation, at least on Earth. They believe in reincarnation in other worlds or in other situations and so on. So we agree on the essential points, existence of the soul, communicability through mediumship, and evolution of the soul. It's just a question how this evolution is done through several lives on Earth or not. And Silvia told it very well. In Christianity, we have this, I mean, the Christian religions do not teach reincarnation since a couple of centuries or even more than a millennium ago, for very clear reasons which are known now. And maybe I can just tell one thing. I was with my dear colleague Roger Perez. I think both of, maybe Stevan not, but Silvia has met him already in the
No,
past.
unfortunately, I didn't met him.
Voilà, he was. You came. You are too young. You're a little bit too young, but okay. And Roger managed to rent a room to make conferences in the city of Lyon that he was renting to some Dominican priests. And he called me to give a lecture in that room about reincarnation. So I was really astonished and say, how can it be? And when I met one of these Dominican priests at the end of the conference and asked him, how is it that you, Dominican priest, are allowing us to come here in the room that you rent us to talk about reincarnation, whilst the reincarnation is not admitted in your own religion? And he told me, I have to tell you something. More than half of the students of theology believe in reincarnation because they know how it has been shifted away. They know very clearly all the arguments you are bringing, and they are convinced about reincarnation. Then I asked him, but okay, but why in the small cities the priests are saying fighting against it, and why in the Vatican, in Rome, also they do not admit it? He told me, oh, that's another story. It may take a little bit more time. So
Hold your
just to
horses,
see,
no?
it's not so close as we think.
It is not very surprising, though, is it, that the Dominicans would accept it? Because, of course, Giordano Bruno was a Dominican, and he said about reincarnation and life on other planets. And, of course, he died for it. He was burned alive in Rome. I always remember because it's the 2nd of February, 1600. The darkest century, I think, that we have. And he started, and he died because of that. But I think one point that you made as well, Charles, that I think is very important, the question of science, because the new researchers, like Stevenson, and he's passed away now, but people are still doing the research, and we know Dr. Tucker and everything.
Jim Tucker.
The new people who are doing research, like Banerjee, and in Dr. Desu Yandoli, in his book about reincarnation, he actually, the proposition now is that reincarnation is not a religious belief, but it's a biological law. And I think that's very interesting, because this is completely relevant of belief or acceptance or religion, your reincarnation, because it's a biological law, whether you like it or not, and I think this is very important, because in a way, as you said, science is taking over from religion, because one day they will walk together, and when they do, health, mental health, so many things will change. So I think in many ways, science is taking over. And, the proposition is that it is a biological law, is irrelevant of beliefs or religion. You reincarnate anyway. And in a way, for us who do accept the idea of reincarnation, it's not something that, I think it's so clear. It seems to be so obvious that I personally find when people, oh, I don't believe in reincarnation, I say, well, really, you don't believe? It's so irrelevant whether you believe or not. It's like believing God exists, whether you believe it or not, is not relevant, the belief. And I think reincarnation is the same thing. And, the modern people who are doing research on reincarnation are more and more now open to this. And I think it's becoming very popular. That there is a very, a program that shows on the telly about children who accept the idea of reincarnation, something from America. And it's interesting because some of the children who have this belief, they are from those, what they call the Bible Belt, where they don't actually, to say anything about reincarnation is like you're being excommunicated or something. But the children remember and they tell the stories. And the parents, they, even though they try to go to, but they see the suffering of the children because some of the memories are very intense. They go and research themselves, and they are to help their children. And I think this is one of the things as well that a lot of those researchers are taking on and becoming more and more acceptable, the idea, because of this, so many people now who have spontaneous memories of past lives. So, it's biological law, everyone,
Yeah,
irrelevant of
you're right,
beliefs.
Silvia. This memory of past lives is an interesting fact. Huh? There are more and more cases, and we can understand that as more as we, the human souls incarnated here on Earth, average are evolving, progressing. There are more and more mediums. There are more and more also people who have, with their more evolved soul, more liberty and has more memory from the past lives. Huh? So the things are becoming more and more transparent with the time. That's also a fact.
You're on mute,
And I
Silvia.
think one of the things as well, because it's so, some of these children, I mean, some of the programs that they made about these children, some of the parents, one of them, he knew names. He, this little boy, even his name, he had the nickname. He knew so many details. And I mean, he was like 5 years old. He couldn't possibly have read, he couldn't even read then. And then eventually, the family, because he tells so many details, the father eventually thought, oh no, my son is not going mad. I'm going to research. And he actually found, and he took this little boy, I think it was about 7 then, 6 or 7, to meet the sister of the man he said he was the reincarnation of, because she was
Really?
still alive. And he recognized her. And this little boy actually used her nickname, the nickname that her brother had for her, because she was a young girl, and he had died in the Second World War. He was a pilot. But it was interesting that the family, he died in Japan, in the sea, and they went there. They took him, and he was they were able to to say goodbye to the person he was. He took flowers, and this boy cried a lot. But now he's growing up completely, leaving these memories behind because of the effort that the parents put behind it. And I think it's what awakening people more and more, because they are not people who are religious in a sense of, actually they have religion who do not accept even the idea of reincarnation. So it's a reality, and people just have to accept it, don't they? So
Exactly.
we missed
I'm back. Yeah,
Stevan
my
is
internet.
keep moving
Yeah, my
away
internet
today.
decided to. And also, this reminds me, Children's for Yesterday, the movie, the case that happened here in Ireland.
Yesterday's children.
Oh
Yesterday's
my God,
Children.
yes,
Hmm?
yes. There was a
Yeah,
woman,
here
she remember
in Malahide. In
exactly, yeah.
Malahide. It happens here in Malahide. So actually, it's a good movie to watch. Of course, there is a Hollywood
They've
finger that,
made
but
into something in the movie, yeah. But I remember that I
hey, it's her.
I
It's,
It's
is a
remember
story based on a
when
real fact. No? Of course.
they did the lady brothers and sisters together.
Hmm.
That was the beauty of it, just now.
Yes.
yes, yes. She
Good
And now
put
movie.
real
she's
No?
nice.
also, she
Yesterday's
doesn't have
children.
any more feelings about that anymore. Yeah. I think it's a fascinating story, but it's interesting because sometimes I remember I was reading a book, for, children's book for my friend's son, and talking fairy stories and things. And then he was like 4 years old, and they turned to me and said, "I lived in a castle before." I said, "Oh, really? Were you the king?" And he said, "No, I told him what to do." 4 years old. And he said he lived in a castle. And I said, "Were you the king?" And he said, "No, I told the king what to do."
Okay, he's more
And that was
important
it,
than the king,
he
you know?
forgot. Yeah, no, I told him what to do. That was amazing. I said, "Oh, really? How wonderful." But then he just forgot and he started into the story again. But if you think children do that all the time, because they do have memories. And I mean, if we, all of us, I think, if we remember things we did in our childhood, we can remember past lives, those memories and things that, you see yourself doing other things, you look different. And, we don't realize that it's memories of the past, but it is. We all have it. Even though we forget most of it, which is important for us to be able to live this life. But some people have very clear, spontaneous memories. And there is, I think, as well, a reason for that happening. Especially now that more and more we need to, the spirit, we need to accept the spirit. And that's why I think there's so many more people now have so many clear memories. So it's really interesting and fascinating.
Yeah,
And we don't
yeah.
reincarnate in 10 different bodies, everyone. We only reincarnate in one body at a time. There are
And
just
we
many
don't
spirits.
reincarnate in animals as well, please.
No, no. There are many spirits because there are more spirits allocated to this planet than there are incarnated people. So I think one of the important things to remember as well is how precious life is, because sometimes we have to wait many years to be able to reincarnate. So when we are here and we have the opportunity of life, we really need to use every single moment of it because it's precious, isn't it?
A lot of pressures. Yes. That's why we needed to make our actions as and duties. Oh, looks Elsa is here with us. Hello, my dear. So, um, we needed to understand we are here to evolve, and all the all of our actions will have a reaction or a consequence, either for good or for bad. And it's not like, oh, I don't care, I will die. No, you will die and you will be suffering, or you're gonna reap the consequences of your actions. You will have the conscious, and I I would say you will beg to reincarnate in order to fix something you probably regret. So my point here is, please do care about your actions today, because someday the bill will arrive to you.
But Steven,
Okay.
let's be positive. The bill will arrive, but the reward as well.
Yes, I forgot to say the other part here, the reward
It's
here.
only upon us. So
Yeah.
we have to see the things positively. Of course, if we do something wrong, we have to repair it, whatever. Huh? That's clear. Huh? And this is why on Earth, what we are seeing around us, the only way to explain it, by the way, huh? Why some people are suffering like we are, what you are seeing nowadays is terrible. It God would not be. We could not conciliate this with God's infinite justice. Huh? A lot of people are saying God does not exist. If God would exist, He would not leave, allow these things to happen. And this is a wrong understanding. God has
Mhm.
given us the free will, uh, and as per definition of the free will, we as humans are free to do good or bad things. It's as simple as that. So the odd or bad things are done by humankind as per the free will everyone has. Is the law of nature. So the evil is not coming from God, not at all. And he does not even, of course. This is why we told at the beginning about these missionaries who are coming to show us the right way. When you see the example of Jesus, of Gandhi, or whatever, this is what we have to follow the example. If we would
Mhm.
all be capable just to move towards the example of those one, the world would be completely different as it is today. Much better.
A lot better. Yeah.
Because
I
I
think
think
in
that,
perspective.
sorry. Uh, I think that one of the main things, what you said, Charles, because the understanding, um, reincarnation is first and foremost for the spirit to progress, so that we become enlightened, so that we learn things, we have possibilities of learning new things, creating new things, and being part of creation as well, so that our spirit can develop and evolve and become enlightened. And I think, in the things, there are choices that we made for, and God is giving us actually the opportunity to readdress the wrongs. And I think this is very important to understand about reincarnation, isn't it? That is for our own benefit. And as you said, God does not punish anyone. I always think of André Luiz when he says, once we lose the physical body, we face the mirror of our conscience. So like Spiritism teaches us that we can do whatever we like, provided we can bear the consequence of what we do. And I think this is
Mhm.
a very mature way of thinking, isn't it? Because like you said, if we were to think the consequences, there are many things we would not do if we know that we have to bear the consequences of that. So
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, so it's already 10 o'clock.
gosh, it's going quickly.
Yeah, let's put it here. Our announcements. And here. Okay, so oh, I forgot to change the date. So next Wednesday, not 8th of November, but um,
13. It's the
13th of
13th of
November.
November.
Yeah, our
Oh,
topic
no,
is maniac
sorry. I beg
called
your pardon. It's the 15th of November.
15th of
15th of
November.
November.
Yeah,
Yes.
many are called, but few are chosen. So on the 10th of December, we will have the round table with all speakers who throughout the year enlight our Sundays with the talk about Gabriel Delan. So don't miss that. It's gonna be on 10th of December 2023 at 7 p.m. London time. Uh, every Saturday, I will study about the Medium's book at 10:30 a.m. with Charles Munir and Guilherme Diaz. Yeah, also our friend Bonnie Paris every Monday at 8 p.m. UK time. She conducts a study of the book Astral City. And every other week, we have conversations on mediumship with Rafael Caldas and Faye Waddington. This is it from us, my friends. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your. Oh, look, Betty, Elizabeth Stevenson. Bettina, thank you for being here with us. Good to have you all here along with Elsa. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Helber Saraiva. Thank you, Marcia Leon. Thank you all who gave us Gilmar Borges, our dear Vanessa Celoni, Pedro Maia. So thank you for sharing these moments with us. Okay.
Yes. And
So
I wanted to, very quickly, Stephen, if I may, I just want to send a very big hug to Marcia Leon, because she's a very good friend. Send you lots of love, Marcia. God bless you, darling. Lovely to see you with us. And all
okay.
of you as well, who being so kind to be with us today. God
Yeah.
bless you all.
Thank you all. See you next Wednesday. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. All
Bye.
the best. Au
Bye.
revoir.
Bye.